Hey, what's up? Like, totally time for 90210.
Start us up. Start us up. You're never gonna start me up.
What is happening?
I have decided to start each episode now with a different Rolling Stones song.
Oh, no.
And see how long it takes for them to notice us and serve us with cease and desist papers.
So for the rest of our lives, that's what you'll be doing.
I'm just joking. It's January. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 90210 show. My name is Mark. With me, as always, is my girlfriend, Carol. How you doing today, Carol?
Hey, what's up?
It's been a good week here. It's January 2nd, 1998. Happy New Year. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm excited.
You sound super excited.
Well, I mean,
yeah, you're like, have you taken some tranquilizers? You're like, yeah.
okay, I'm a little hungover from celebrating the new year. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we had some good celebrations for the new year. 1998. I just, unlike 97, I like saying, although I got used to 97, I like saying 98.
Yeah.
It's 98.
It has a more of a pop to it.
It does. It has more of a in-sync pop. They're a pop band.
You're so silly.
They're a pop band that's popular.
Sure.
And what's the other one? The Backdoor Boys. I'm sorry, the Backstreet Boys.
There you go. Gross.
Those ones too. They're also popular. Yeah, it's. I feel like we're moving into when we started this show. Just everyone that wants to hear about 90210, just take a second, okay? Just calm yourself down. It's 1998 now.
We'll get there.
But I feel like when we first started this show, not necessarily this show, but our main show, 1994, we were in the midst of grunge.
Right.
The grunge Seattle movement, flannel, and hey, jealousy, that kind of stuff, you know. Gin blossoms.
You weirdo? Yes, we were.
And we've slowly transitioned from that into, I don't know, that's like pop, like music is all pop now. It's all poppy.
It is.
It's weird. Pop. There's a happy feeling, nothing. Okay, anyway, so
Yeah, no more of that. It's the new year.
Yeah, but it's weird, right? Like the evolution of music.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's true. Like, but it's always changing. I mean, look at like the 60s to now. I mean, like, it's always changing.
It's a little different than this 4-year period we've been through, but yes. Look at the 60s till now. These boots are no longer made for walking.
So speaking of music.
Yes.
This episode, Donna and David get some news.
That's true. Great segue. 98 is going to be the year of you doing fantastic segues. What news do they get, Carol? Pray tell.
Well, I mean, it's the news that we already knew they were going to get. That they're
pregnant.
No.
Immaculate conception.
That they lost their label, whatever.
MZA, which I think is supposed to be like MCA, I think is a music thing. So
okay.
I think, I'm not sure. I know like Capitol Records and Death Row Records and Lynch Mob.
Right? Columbia House Records?
Sure, yeah. Columbia, yes.
Didn't they do the thing in the mail?
They did the thing in the mail, that's right.
Yeah.
They would ejaculate onto tapes and send semen-filled tapes to people, yeah.
What is wrong with you?
They was terrible. They were terrorists.
What is wrong with you?
Oh, wait, are you talking about when they would send things out for like a penny and stuff?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. That's how I got my first Green Day album.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that's how you got your first taste of...
Oh my God! What is what? Like, I don't understand what is happening right now.
It's 98.
And you lost your goddamn mind?
New attitude.
I don't like that.
Anyway, as far as I know, Columbia House didn't do that. But yes, they did do they fill this out and you penny and all that stuff.
You're such an asshole.
Okay, thanks. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I was just
Not
reliving.
Not a proportional response.
Reliving that nightmare of what you just said. Ew. Anyway. So David moved in.
Yeah.
With the dude that Donna was flirting with, I think.
It's so weird.
It is the same guy, right?
Yes, it is. I'm pretty sure it is, yeah.
Well, why is...
And he fucking insulted him, too. He's like, oh, it's been a long time, David. He's like, yeah, not long enough, asshole.
Yeah. I don't
How did
understand.
he transition that from being like that to... You know what he did? He negged him. Giving him negative compliments. It's a way to pick up women. That's
Weird.
like what people do sometimes. They'll like it's a big thing on the rise.
Okay.
Say stuff like, "Oh, hey, it's nice to see you out. You know, I you're very brave. I don't know many women that would have the courage to go out in that top."
Wow.
And then all of a sudden, like, the woman wants to please you. She's like, "Oh my God, he's judging me. I want to make sure that he, you know, likes me." And that's the. You're giving me this look, like, you know,
like that's fucked up because it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I didn't come up with this theory, nor do I employ this theory because we are happily together. But that I'm explaining to you what the theory is. Not that I think that it's valid.
Why does David even need anywhere to stay in the first place? Like, where was he staying before?
The dorm. He doesn't want to stay at the dorm anymore.
That's all. That's all the explanation we have for why
Yes.
he's now suddenly living with this other guy.
That's correct.
And at this other guy's house, there's a pool and a lot of pretty women just wandering around.
That's right.
It's kind of weird. It's like a mini Hugh Hefner's house.
Right. He's mini Hugh Hefner. He's actually only 4 feet tall too, so he really is mini Hugh Hefner.
And at one point when Donna drops by to borrow a camera, there's a woman standing at the grill, grilling in a bikini top.
Yeah.
That's like every man's fantasy right there.
A
woman who grills in a bikini? Come on.
The way you said that, like an infomercial announcer or something like that. A woman who grills? There's got to be a better way. No, but you would think that would be dangerous. Grilling in a bikini.
You think, is it more dangerous than grilling in swim trunks?
Well, I'm just saying splatter.
Yeah.
But I guess if you're grilling right.
There shouldn't be any splatter.
Correct. Keep those juices in. But yeah, so she's jealous all of a sudden. And it's just so weird because she was hardcore flirting with this dude. And it's like...
Yeah.
I don't know. I think David just wants to keep an eye on him. David, though, it's subtle, but the looks he would give her a look here and there. Mm-hmm. I think he was purposely trying to make her jealous.
Oh yeah, for sure, 100%. He's very angry with her, but he's not done with her.
No, and they do this thing where she's when the wedding that happens in this episode happens. Mm-hmm. What the fuck was this called? A Mate for Life. That's what it was called. She's filming it, and she looks up from the camera to look at David and everything, and she's like all like, oh, like, you know.
Is she moaning while she's filming their wedding? Because I don't think so.
Inside, that's her inner monologue.
Okay, well,
I'm privy to the inner monologue of Bottle Blondes.
Her inner monologue sounds dirty.
So maybe that was my inner monologue. But so I don't like this. They did all the work to get them together in the end of last season. They undid it all in the first 2 episodes of this season. Mm-hmm. And now in episode 3, they're like, nah, maybe we'll get them together still, though.
Yeah.
The fuck? He was an asshole to her in the first episode. She was kind of an asshole to him in the second episode, flirting with this dude right in front of him and everything. And now he's indifferent, seemingly, and she wants him again.
Yeah.
I'm starting to worry about Donna
Right.
and her being drawn to abusive relationships.
Her parents don't seem to have an abusive relationship. I
No.
don't understand.
Her mom did cheat on her dad.
Yeah.
And she does seem very bossing and domineering.
Okay, well, maybe her parents are in an abusive relationship.
I don't know. We don't get to see them a lot.
But yeah, Donna definitely does not have good taste in men and relationships.
No, not at all. But that's pretty much all that happens with their storyline.
With their storyline. But the main storyline, as you mentioned, there's a wedding. It's Nat and Joanie.
Yeah. You know what struck me today is Nat looks like a grown-up old Fonzie. Doesn't he kind of?
A little.
He's got that kind of, and the hairstyle.
A little bit.
He looks like Henry Winkler, who was in Scream as the principal.
Okay. His hair's messy, and it irritates me because even for his wedding, his hair's messy.
I don't think his hair does anything other than what he does with it.
But I mean, put some product in your hair. It's your wedding day.
Yeah, put some fudge in your hair.
What the fuck?
Fudge it up.
And what was going on? He had cold feet or whatever, so he went into work at the beach.
They never addressed that either.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we're just assuming that's why, but I mean, I think that's why.
Steve and Brandon had to tackle him and take him out of there.
Yeah, they stole the spatula from him and handed it off to somebody. They're like, get him out of here.
Yeah, to Willie.
He didn't want to go get married.
And even when they were doing the ceremony, he looked terrified.
Mm-hmm. But then her water broke during the ceremony.
Joanie's, yeah.
Only in fucking TV. That shit does not happen in real life.
Well, the funny thing is in real life, it takes a long time from the beginning of labor to having a baby.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this isn't her first child.
Correct.
And from what I've heard, it can go faster.
The second time.
Yeah, the second or third or fourth time or whatever.
Yeah, every time I think it's supposed to be a little bit easier.
But,
your body knows more what to do.
Right. But she goes into labor. All of a sudden, by the way, she wasn't visibly pregnant.
Well, I mean, I think they're trying to tell us some time has gone by.
I guess. But that doesn't make sense. From one episode to the next?
I mean, she said she was going to be showing soon. So it's probably been a month or two.
But then how is this baby not insanely premature?
I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Timeline-wise, it doesn't make a lot of sense. But she goes into labor. They're wheeling her into the hospital. They're like, let's get to the hospital. And they're wheeling her down the hall. Everyone's following her. Not something that they would allow to happen.
Right.
And one of the nurses is like, she's crowning!
And her dress is still covering her.
Do you just sense it?
Right. There's no way.
That's why she's an OBGYN nurse, because she has the ability to sense crowning.
They wouldn't even check that in the hallway. She's not even in her room yet. You do not know she's crowning.
Right.
Shut up.
And then she goes, no, stop! And they all stop. Again, a thing that they wouldn't do.
Right.
And she says, I'm not having this baby until I'm a married woman.
This thing was just so hokey, it made me upset.
And right behind them is the priest.
Because he followed them.
Of course he did.
Why not? Why wouldn't he go to the hospital to watch her have a baby?
Yeah, this random priest.
Whatever.
So he performs a really quick ceremony. They're married.
They exchange rings.
And then she goes and has a child, a little boy.
She stops screaming long enough for that and then starts screaming again. Again, not realistic.
Yeah, right on cue.
Yeah. It was just, and then when the baby's finally born, this is hokey as hell too.
Yes.
Nat comes bouncing out of down the hall like he's fucking Tigger from Winnie the Pooh, and he's all happy. He's been all freaked out the whole time. Now he's all happy.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, give me a drink," because they're having their wedding reception in the waiting room. Also, they would not be allowing champagne and shit in a waiting room in a hospital. No. And he hops up on the table and makes a toast and stuff, and it's like, what is it? This is so weird.
Yeah. And then Donna's filming the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because she's filming it for them. That's what she borrowed the camera for. And she goes and starts filming the babies before they bring the new Nat's and Josie's new baby out. Frankie, apparently. Joanie. Apparently.
Francesco.
Right. Francesco. But she's filming it. First of all, she's filming all the babies, which seems like a violation of privacy.
Right.
Second of all, she's got a tight white shirt on
You
with,
can see her
with
nipples.
no bra.
So much you can see her nipples.
As soon as she turned towards the nursery, all the babies started crying.
Right? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that was weird. Weird choice, costume designers.
Yeah. Although, I mean, we often see her nipples. She's not shy about her breasts in any way.
No, we'll talk about someone who's not shy in a second. But,
right.
but she, so they bring the baby out, and they're all like, waving and stuff like that. And then, for some fucking reason, Steve, Brandon...
And
David's there, and Donna's there. Mm-hmm. They all, thumbs up.
And, high five.
And then start, they thumbs up and pause like that.
Yeah.
And then they start high-fiving each other, yeah! And it's like a fucking after-school special or something. It was a parody of a teen moment.
It was very weird.
It was one of the weirdest fucking things I've ever seen.
I did not like it. I didn't like at all how they handled this episode. I mean, whatever, it's cute, I guess, but I mean, this show is not supposed to be cute. That's not how the show started.
No.
But
not how it started, not how it should be going.
No. But yeah, so Joanie's daughter comes into town, and Steve and Brandon are picking her up from the airport.
What's her name?
For the wedding.
Lynn or something like that?
I only remember her other name. Tiger Lily.
Yeah, Diamond.
Yeah, her last name's Diamond. Yeah, Lily Diamond or something.
Yes,
L Diamond.
Something like that, yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be Neil Diamond.
So they pick her up from the airport, and she walks up to Steve and Brandon. And now this is a choice not many women would make.
Yeah.
But she's like, I guess I'm all yours, and locks her arm into Steve's arm.
Yeah. She's super sexually aggressive.
Very much so.
I don't know why they keep writing women like this.
Yeah, most girls are not like that.
They love it. They love this though, and it's another situation where Steve's like, "Oh, I'll fuck this woman," even though I've got Claire. I mean, maybe not really, but he certainly acts like it.
Yeah, and then Brandon's like, "Oh no!" Then he says something about Claire, though. He does,
because she says something like, "Oh, are you gonna? Who's gonna take me to the beach? I can't wait to see the beach." Mm-hmm. And Steve's like, "Oh, I promised Claire I would do this," and she's like, "Oh, and Claire is and Brandon's like, "Yep, his girlfriend," and she's like, "Oh," and then she hooks her arm on Brandon and says, "Guess you're taking me then."
Yeah. So, first of all, between Ian Ziering and Jason Priestley, who looks at Jason Priestley and goes, "You're the second choice. You're the consolation prize." No, that's unrealistic too.
Okay.
I mean, I guess unless you're really into muscles, because Ian Ziering does have bigger muscles than Jason Priestley.
Yeah, he's more fit for sure.
But that's it.
He's taller too.
Yeah. I mean, I guess. So maybe she's more into the frame.
Yeah.
But his face is not on par with Jason Priestley's face. I'm sorry. Well, just gotta say.
This show is nothing if not a Ian Ziering hate show. So.
No, it is not.
Anyway, but yes, so she decides that she's going to hook her star to Brandon.
And Brandon is the best man, and she's the maid of honor.
Right.
So it kind of works out anyway.
I guess. He takes her to the Bellage Hotel.
Right.
The famous Bellage Hotel. And
where Dylan used to live.
Right. And she's like, "Oh, this is really nice." And then she strips off her clothes.
Yeah. She's just standing there in underwear.
And she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not very shy." And he's like, "Yeah, I see."
And she's like, "It's okay. Don't look if you don't like what you see." What the fuck, lady?
And she says, her mom says and everything, she's a dancer.
Mm-hmm.
She does dance, and she's like part of a dance company or something like that, I think she says. And he's like, what kind of dancing do you do? Ballet? And she's like, "Well, I have been classically trained." And then she starts to fucking grind on the bedpost.
Yeah, she lifts her leg up so that it's straight next to her head. That is only a stripper move, right? Like, well, I mean, I guess it's a ballet move too.
Yeah, sometimes. But she does that, and I mean, we've caught on right away.
Yes. And then for some reason, like, okay, the guys are like, we got to take Nat out for his bachelor party. And Brandon's like, oh, I can't. I'm babysitting the maid of honor.
Yeah.
She's an adult woman. She got there on a plane.
Right.
Why does she need a babysitter?
I don't know.
It's weird. And she wants to go see her friend, so they go to a strip club because her friend works at the strip club.
And that's when Brandon puts it together.
It takes him that long.
He's like, you're not, what kind of dancer are you? And she's like, look, I'm an erotic dancer or whatever. She's a stripper in Cleveland, Ohio.
And makes $5,000 a week. A week.
A lot of desperate dudes in Cleveland, apparently. No, she said a month.
Oh, did she?
She did say
okay. That makes more sense.
It's a lot of money, though.
That is. Like, it's insane.
That's like $60,000 a year.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money.
Not fair.
No? Well, you could be a stripper if you wanted to be.
No, I can't dance.
I wouldn't want... Oh, yeah, that's true. But I wouldn't want you to be, so...
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyway, so... Yeah, but I don't understand. In Cleveland, Ohio...
Yeah.
And she ends up going back to Cleveland, Ohio at the end of the episode.
Why would you ever do that? It's L.A.
Stay in L.A.
You'll make more money.
Exactly. You know how much more money she could make as a stripper? I mean, she's not that attractive, but you know how much more money she could make as a stripper in L.A.?
Yeah.
I mean, she's got a decent face, but she's a very small body.
Very
thin, small frame.
Her friend had run up to her and been like, hey, you should come work here. They get full medical.
Yeah, like what the fuck?
Like if she can get her a job with full medical as a stripper, like take it.
I didn't know that was even a thing.
I did not either.
But anyway, so she doesn't take the job as a stripper. Instead, she sees Nats and Steve there.
Yeah. Just the two of them, which is like, it's even worse. Like, why is Brandon not with them? That's just bullshit. Yeah. And, so then Nat knows now that she's a stripper because she happened to be in the strip club. Like, that was weird, too.
Well, Brandon said, look, I'll do the talking. I'll say it's my idea or whatever. Mm. And Nat's obviously very nervous. He's like, oh, I didn't think I'd see you two here. But that's when her friend comes up, and she's like, oh, and I can get you a job here. And she's, like, saying all this stuff in front of Nat.
Yeah.
And that's when they realize that she's a stripper. And she says,
her name is Tiger Lily.
She says, do you think he'll tell my mom? And he goes, no, because then he'd have to explain why he was there.
That's ridiculous.
Why he found out. Yeah, you don't think Jonesy or Joanie? Joanie would behoove him going to a strip club? Like,
for his bachelor party?
Yeah, that seems weird.
I mean, they are very much grown adult people.
Yeah.
They're way past young shenanigan age.
Exactly.
So.
I mean, that baby's coming out getting Social Security. So. But that's when they go back to the hotel room. And he's like, well, it was a great, interesting night. I'll see you later. And she says to him, hey, most guys, when they find out that I'm an erotic dancer, I think is how she put it, they expect things and they want, and you never would you? And he's like, no. And she goes, that's why I'm going to love this so much.
Yeah, so Brandon does not come home.
And apparently she fucks him so hard and so good that he limps the next day.
What?
I thought that there was going to be a joke about that, maybe nothing happened or they tried or something like that, but there was an accident or whatever. But nope, they just leave it at that. Because Steve says, hey, you didn't come home to Kasha Walsh. Walsh, you must have had a great time or whatever. And he's like, yeah, he's like, I don't know what you're talking about, Steve. And he starts walking and he's limping. And Steve goes, nice limp or something like that. So it's like.
Interesting.
Yeah, she rode him so hard he's limping.
I did not notice that part.
So, anyway.
Wow.
Yeah. And then when he takes her to the airport, she's like, look, we're not going to start a relationship. I don't want to get married maybe 25 years from now or something like that.
Like her mom.
Yeah, but I like my freedom right now. It was a really fun weekend. Glad we fucked. And, if you're ever in Cleveland, come and look me up.
Yeah. And he basically says, if you're ever anywhere, let me know.
Right.
I'll be there.
Yeah. Maybe you were going to talk about it. My favorite part about this storyline, though, was they're hanging out at the wedding before the water breaks and greeting people as the best man and the maid of honor. And Kelly's staring at him.
And Valerie comes up and she's like, hey, Brandon and the maid of honor seem to be getting along real well.
And she's like, yeah, whatever.
You know he didn't come home last night?
And then she just walks away. It's so fucking awesome.
Kelly just looks so pissed.
I love it. It's like, I am so here for this pettiness. It was great. She, apropos of nothing, she just came up and gave her that information. Just, fucking dropped a mental bomb on her and then walked away.
Right.
It was awesome.
Ugh.
Oh, my God. It was so good. I loved it.
Valerie's dealing with her own shit, though.
Yes, she is.
Because when she's at the beach club, where she went with Mr. CPA the other night.
A certified Poonanny accountant.
He is there with his wife and child.
Yeah.
Sitting there having lunch. And she goes over and introduces herself, which is pretty damn bold.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, oh, I'm his new client and stuff. Like, she acts like it's, nothing's going on. But you can tell his wife is suspicious.
Right.
And then she notes that he's wearing his wedding ring, which he was not wearing. So I think he is a lying piece of shit.
I agree.
So we'll see. He shows up at the end. Mm-hmm. And I thought he was coming there to give her, a hard time or break up with her because of what happened. And instead, he strokes her face and he's like, I'm falling in love with you, Valerie.
Oh, my God, yeah.
What the fuck?
The creepiest fucking way, too.
Did they have sex?
I don't think they've had sex yet, no. But he said, yeah, because he's like, oh, I'm here for the P&L reports, which are profit and losses. And she's like, I sent them to you. And he's like, yeah, I've got it. But she says to him, are you really getting divorced? And he's like, yes, I'm getting divorced. And I said, does your wife know?
Right.
Because I'm guessing she doesn't. But he says, but, it wouldn't be good to give her ammunition. It wouldn't be fiscally responsible.
I mean, he's not wrong. It's not a great idea to admit to having an affair while you're still married when you're going through a divorce.
Right. But are they really going through a divorce? It did not seem like it.
No, why would they be sitting there having a nice, happy-looking lunch with their child?
Correct. So, I think he's just a liar, like you said.
Yeah, he just wants to have sex with Valerie.
Yeah, and stroke her face. But he's talking about how, we can franchise this idea. A franchised nightclub. I don't see it. But.
The Peach Pit After Dark, too. It's like the Peach Pit After Dark. It's so specific. It's right next to the Peach Pit. Like, how are you going to franchise that?
I guess they would just have to call it After Dark.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess. And it's like an after-hours club, right? That's the whole point of it?
It's after the Peach Pit closes. So I don't know if it's like after alcohol hours.
Okay, I got you. But
yeah, he wants to franchise it, so I don't know. I think he's filling her head with all this stuff that's never going to happen. Mm-hmm. And as soon as he gets a little pussy, then he'll be gone and back to his wife.
That does seem to be the way it works for her. Like, she must have something wrong, like, are there teeth in there? Like, what is going on? Because, I mean, she's so hot.
Wow.
But, like, guys do not seem to want to continue to sleep with her. I mean, Dylan did a little, but not for long.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll see.
I don't get it either. But anyway, we'd be willing to try, Valerie. Finally, there's Kelly.
Okay.
Kelly's at the AIDS house.
Oh, yeah.
Or Friends House, I think they call it, or something like that.
Yeah,
what they call it?
I mean, it's the AIDS hospice. I don't remember what they call it. Friendship House or something like that.
Friendship House, that's what it was. Friendship House. She's there with the older brother from Blossom.
Yeah.
Who is a gay man. And I really appreciated this. I didn't assume he was gay at first.
No.
Because you don't need to be gay to get AIDS.
Right.
We all used to think that, but it's 1998, everybody. We know that.
Right.
And he reveals that he was married once. Obviously, it's got to be married in quotation marks, unless they went out of the country, I guess. But he says he was a great guy and amazing person and everything. Obviously, his husband died of AIDS and everything. But that's when we find out he's gay. And I really appreciate that. And I can't remember. I think his last name's Russo or something like that. I can't remember. But the actor that's the older brother on Blossom. Mm-hmm. I really appreciate that he portrayed this in a completely non-stereotypical way.
Yeah. This
guy came in and basically graced the set with his acting. He's a really good actor.
Yeah.
Actually, and I think he's almost wasted on Blossom. But this dude's a very good actor, and he did a really good job of portraying this character fully formed with not a lot of backstory or anything like that behind it, but just bringing the emotion to it and everything. That's not easy all the time when your character is slightly underwritten, because it's just a guest star that we're probably never going to see again. But he was really good, and I really liked his portrayal. He was into magic and melodrama, I guess. I don't know.
He asked Kelly why, when she could choose from so many different, assignments, did she choose to go there? Mm-hmm. And she basically admits that she's punishing herself, which seems kind of insulting.
Right.
And he's like, oh, for what? And she's like, just past mistakes. So, do you think it's because she turned down Brandon? I'm not sure what she's referring to.
I think maybe it's the drug stuff and the cult stuff, maybe, partially.
She does have a lot of mistakes to make up for, I guess.
But I'm not sure exactly, but yeah, she's definitely, it's a penance for her. And he's super nice to her, though. Mm-hmm. And, she talks about how she's upset and everything, and she said it's, a good friend and a good enemy or something like that. And she basically says, Brandon, she tells them the whole story about Brandon being with the maid of honor and everything, and it was upsetting to her. And then Valerie was being a bitch to her or whatever. And he said, what makes you more upset, your friend or this bitch? And she's like, the bitch or whatever. And he says, no, when she gets to you, she wins. Don't do that. Don't. And he talks about how, you shouldn't live in melancholy.
Yeah.
And that's, the worst thing. And I don't know, it's all very poignant. And this part harkens back to early 90210 when it was more about something.
Yeah.
And not just a teen soap opera. This storyline was the only thing that was really, and juxtaposed with the silliness of everything else.
It was all ridiculous.
It really highlights it.
Yep.
I mean, the only mistake I haven't seen them do on this show is violate the 180-degree rule. So
180-degree rule
with the camera. So if you have a camera, you draw a line, 180-degree line, right? Like a parallel line like that, right? When you're filming something, when you're cutting between shots, you can go here. You can go, and I'm going side to side you can go here, you can go there, up, down, stuff like that. But what you can't do is go all the way behind and film from that angle. I'm filming here and it's getting your right cheek, right? Mm-hmm. I can't take the camera on the other side of you and film your left cheek and cut between shots like that.
Okay.
It's very disorientating for the brain.
Okay.
So that's a rule. You don't want to cross that. You don't want to cross that line.
Got it.
I haven't seen the directors or the cinematographers violate that yet. But who knows? It's possible.
Right. Could be coming.
But, there are episodes that are good. There are episodes that are bad. This is more in the bad neighborhood. I'm hoping that Season 7 gets better.
Yeah, so far not great.
But that is the episode for the week, Carol. Why don't you tell these 1998 cats what they can do?
You can write us at latefee1994@AOL.com.
Yep.
Check out our website at www.retrolatefee.com and tell your friends.
All right, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.